I still can't sleep when it rains. The sound of water hitting leaves takes me back to that night in 1976, deep in the Amazon, where my life changed forever. My name is Joao, and I was a simple rubber tapper then, working the trees near Manaus. I've never told this story to anyone outside my village. Who would believe me? It was during the military government years. We poor workers didn't matter much to the men in power. We lived and died in the jungle, collecting rubber, hunting, and trying to feed our families. I had a small hut about 2 hours from the nearest village, where my wife and 2 children waited for me on weekends. That Tuesday in March, I remember the air felt wrong, heavy and still, like the jungle was holding its breath. The rainy season had been strange that year, with sudden storms coming and going. I was working farther from my camp than usual, following a new line of rubber trees I'd discovered the previous week. The rain started around sunset. Not the usual downpour, but a gentle, misty rain that made everything glisten. I knew I wouldn't make it back to my camp before dark, so I built a small shelter using palm leaves and settled in for the night. I must have fallen asleep despite the discomfort. What woke me wasn't a sound, but a feeling, like when you know someone is watching you. The rain had stopped, and the jungle was too quiet. No frogs, no insects, no night birds, just silence. Then I saw the light through the trees, not yellow like fire or white like lightning, but a blue-green colour I'd never seen before. It moved slowly, not like a flashlight carried by a person, but floating, pulsing. "Hello?" I called out, thinking maybe it was another tapper lost in the dark. No answer. I should have stayed put. Every instinct told me to stay hidden, but curiosity pushed me forward. I grabbed my machete and moved toward the light. The trees opened to a small clearing I didn't recognize. The light grew brighter, coming from above. Looking up, I saw it. A round object, bigger than 2 buses put together, hovering silently over the clearing. Blue-green light poured from its bottom, illuminating the ground and trees with that unnatural color. I dropped to my knees, my machete falling from my hand. Was it a government thing? Americans? Russians? We heard stories in the village about strange aircraft testing in the Amazon. But deep down, I knew this was something else. The light suddenly intensified, and I felt myself rising, not like being lifted by hands, but like floating in water, moving upward without control. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My body wouldn't respond to my commands. What happened next comes back to me in flashes, like a dream you can't fully remember. Cold metal, small figures with large black eyes, pain in my head and back, lights that seemed to look inside me. I woke up on the jungle floor as dawn broke. My clothes were soaked with dew, but otherwise intact. 3 strange marks formed a triangle on my chest, raised, red welts that didn't hurt but wouldn't go away for months. The clearing was empty, no craft, no lights, no evidence of what happened. But the jungle plants around me were flattened in a perfect circle, like something heavy had pressed them down. I ran back to the village that day, abandoning my tapping equipment. The other workers noticed something was wrong, but I couldn't tell them. How could I explain what I didn't understand myself? In the weeks that followed, strange things happened. I could predict the rain hours before it came. Animals avoided me. I drew symbols I didn't recognize. My wife said I spoke in my sleep in words that weren't Portuguese or any language she knew. The military came to our village that year, asking questions about lights in the sky. I stayed silent. Some other tappers had seen things too, but those who spoke openly disappeared for questioning and returned changed, denying everything. It's been over 40 years now. The marks faded, but the memories haven't. Sometimes I wonder if they'll come back for me. Sometimes I hope they will. The jungle holds many secrets, and I became one of them. I still work the rubber trees, older now, my hands cracked and calloused. Younger men laugh at the old man who won't go into certain parts of the jungle, who stares too long at the sky during rainstorms. But they didn't see what I saw. They weren't taken by the lights in the Amazon.